I have to tell on myself this morning. I made a video yesterday and I couldn't figure out why it didn't have any sound. I tried everything. I unmuted my tablet. I transferred it over to my laptop. Nothing worked. Guess what? I had my finger over the microphone. Oh yeah, smart cookie, I'll tell ya. But we're out here in the East Garden this morning. It's about 8:30. I've been out here since 7. And not weeding like you might think. No, I've been planting flowers. Don't know if you can see it really good, but there's a beautiful little sweet-smelling red carnation down there by my bubble pot. And I cleaned out some old columbines that were in front of Spitfire there, my dragon. And then that square dragon thing there, that's a piece of brass that I actually made in the shop at school. We have a really nice visual arts department, and I actually did everything there. They showed me how to carve it out of the sand, and then they poured the brass in it and came out, and I really liked the way it happened. So let's see, we've got daylilies blooming out there that are bright red. They're not quite open yet this morning because the sun is just now caressing them. Back there in the background in the shadows, you can see some alums that are beginning to head up. And over there to the left, those are the columbines. My brother wants some of the seeds. He came down here when they were in bloom, and I'm sure you saw still pictures on Twitter of them. I'm going to get up now, and it might get kind of bright because the sun's let's go this way just a minute first. We'll go slowly over here and we'll look over the top of this columbine that's heading out, and we'll show you Emperor Ming's beautiful buffalo grass has gotten huge this year. It looks really nice. And oh, Amos, I love Amos. He's my helpful man in the garden. You know him, you've seen him. He decided that he would power wash everything. Typical man fashion. So that beautiful moss that made Emperor Ming look so cool and so ancient is now all gone. But, it's Oregon. It'll grow back again. That's the way you got to look at it. There's a little bit of, what is that called? It's not witch hazel. That yellow flower back there. It's an herb that people take for arthritis. I can't remember what it is. Oh, isn't that horrible? But the bamboo's doing really well. There it is. It's actually in a pot. You have to keep it contained. Otherwise, it's going to run all over. And there's a big birdhouse up there. And I heard a dove out here this morning. So I'm thinking that maybe it's taken up residence somewhere. I don't think that house is big enough for it. I think they don't live in houses per se. And that's my multicolored azalea there. Now I'm going to stand up, so this is going to get a little jerky here. Here we go. And we're going to turn around, and we're going to walk down the inside path here, and we're going to pause for a minute to look, because you'll notice there's a tree gone. What happened? That's the apple tree, and the apple tree got New Zealand scab. And New Zealand scab can be treated with a dormant spray. The only trouble is I don't like sprays. So we tried it with an organic one 2 years in a row. We got no apples off of it. I was very sad because the tree used to be full of Braeburns, Fuji's, and orange pippins. But I just couldn't have it in the yard for me to try to trim. At my age, I know you guys think I'm just a youngster, but I turned 64 in May, so I decided to take it out. What we're going to do here, I know this looks like a weed patch right now. We tried corn earlier, but it rained too much. You can maybe see a couple little sprigs there. That's about it. Anyway, what we're going to do is this is going to have 2 more columnar apples in it, and those are the ones like the one behind me. Let me turn around here and see if I can show it to you. It goes all the way up there, and it has an enormous amount of apples on that columnar tree. And the nice thing about it is I don't have to trim the thing at all. Occasionally I literally take the top out of it. Oh, that's that's the beautiful ballerina fuchsia you got in front of you there. Anyway, and this one down here is also a hardy fuchsia that comes back. And then Mrs. Popple down here. Well, we just kind of got sidetracked on the flowers, didn't we? But aren't they pretty? Look at those. Aren't those neat? I've told you the story of Mrs. Popple before. And I almost put my thumb over the microphone again. Okay, be careful, Theresa. All right, now, over there in those two raised flower beds, we've got some glads going. We got some crocosmia, and we're going to have more glads and more crocosmias, and the blueberry bushes are doing really well. Dad's got some beans growing out there this year, and the grapes are doing very well. The currant behind the crocosmia over there is just full of all kinds of food, or stuff for the birdies, because I don't usually use the currants for anything. Okay, now we're going to walk out here in the sun, so it might get kind of bright, but we'll go around the corner and it'll be better once we get close to the Moroccan room. So here we go, and here we go, and here we are back over here. And Daddy yesterday pointed these out and said, show them the campanula. So there's the campanula growing right there, and it was in really full bloom earlier on, but it's beginning to go to seed too. But the Mexican feathergrass is doing really well. And my new daylilies that Star Clan Admiral helped me pick out from the bush that, or the book that he had from Spring Hill. They're blooming very nicely. The nice thing about these is, one, they smell, which is nice. They're fragrant. And the other thing is that they'll grow, they'll actually bloom twice. Once in the fall and again in the, or once in the summer and again in the fall. There's a nice little alum that, let's see if I can find it here for you. Oh, there it is. Ah, this is kind of cool. Let me see if I can tap it and get it in. There, isn't that pretty? I put a whole slew of those at the end of the bed. We've got some, what they call Sweet Pea Vine here that's growing. I want to get some grasses for behind it so that, let me back up here a little bit. You can see that the feverfew here is chartreuse, so it's that got that same bright yellow green going on, and then those will have that spilling over the edge, and then we'll have some taller grasses. I've actually got the nursery looking after them for me, and when they bloom, or I should say bud out, what do they call grasses when they come to the top? Feather out, whatever. Anyway, they're pink, which will be really cool. Okay, and the whole daylily bed over here, which is just really, really gorgeous. I love the different, oh, and you can hear Mr. Blue in the background. And we topped the corkscrew willow again this year, and look, it's almost as tall, and its partner that I planted are almost as tall as the building behind us, which is kind of cool. And there's some grasses back in the back, that zebra grass and one of the other ones feathering out nicely. Pond got cleaned recently, which is nice. Got some reeds actually blooming out here. The only thing I would say about the reeds, I really like them, but they do spread. There's some more over there. And you can't pull them up very easy. They have roots to Methuselah. So let's go around this way. That fern's really getting packed in there nowadays. We'll go around here, and we're going to enter the shade garden and the mosaic garden. This is the wisteria over the top, and I'm going to show you our new project that is in the midst of being done. We had a lot, well, there was a lilac here, if you remember the other different videos that I've done. And the lilac, it got too wet. That's a really soggy area. So I have found a kind of a grass, tall decorative grass, that has really nice color both spring, summer, and fall. And what we're going to do is we cleared out all of the creeping jenny. It had See the little chartreuse flower there around the stone? That's creeping Jenny. It was full of creeping Jenny. So when we took the lilac out, we cleaned it all off. We're going to put ground cloth. The ground cloth is going to go all the way around there behind the mock orange, and then all the way, let's pan slowly so we don't make you sick at your stomach, over there to where the bird feeder is, okay? And then we're going to put minus gravel in. We're going to put that, which is a big chrysanthemum, in that hole that's dug there. And then right where it is currently, we're going to put the grass, and then we're going to put another decorative grass. Let me walk over here this way. I'll put another decorative grass right here behind Corky's stone. That was Mom and Dad's little doggie that we had, and she's buried there. And we're going to put another decorative grass so that when you look from the Moroccan room, you won't see this fence, which is something that I'm always trying to hide. Instead, you will see the grasses, and you will see the chrysanthemum, and eventually, when the wisteria crawls along that fence, you will see the wisteria blooming in the spring. And then we're looking back this way, which is the bird bath and the Moroccan room, and Dr. Rupel, who's all finished blooming now. And I'm waiting for these, which are orange crocosmias, to bloom. They'll bloom a little bit later, and there's a slew of them. And then we'll walk over here into the shade garden. Oh, there's going to be one more project this summer. Let me see. Let me turn around here and see if we can see it once I get in the shade. There's a metal plate here. It's really meant as a place to wipe your feet in front of a door. But I originally put it down, and I put all kinds of pretty stones in it. You can see some of the stones in it now. And over the years, it's got some moss in it, and the stones have drifted away and everything. So Geraldine and I, you remember we did that tabletop together in my DIY. We're going to take that up. We're going to clean out the stones. We're going to put a nice minus gravel bottom under it. We're going to put it back down again. We're going to put all the stones back in it. And I'm going to try something. I'm going to try pouring resin over it. I'm going to do my best to do it just over the stones and not try to hit the metal, so that we'll still have some traction when we walk over it, you know, when it's wet and that sort of thing. But I want to see if in small doses that resin will hold up. And if it will, then throughout the mosaic garden that way, and out in that new area that way, we will actually have little areas that have those kind of metal, you know, things that people usually hang on the wall, and Theresa instead puts them on the ground, and we'll fill them with stones, and we'll have these little sparkly, cool things, like maybe one underneath a bird bath that's got some kind of a round type thing happening. I don't know, it just kind of moves me to think about it. Okay, so let's go around here. We're almost finished with our little tour for the end of June here. And this is the shade garden. It's doing really well this year. We trimmed up the willow a little bit, just as far as thinning it out a bit, because it does get so awfully big, but it creates such lovely shade, along with the katsura, which you can see its leaves. Katie kind of intermixes, and it gives us some nice shade. Dad's going to work on the porch swing this year so that we can get it down and working good. It's given a little bit, and we cleaned up that area behind the greenhouse. So I think that concludes our tour for today, and I hope you enjoyed it, our little time away here. And we'll give you one last view of our project back there, and then when we get into it, or when we get it done, oh, there's Mr. Blue up on the bird feeder. He's getting his peanuts. When we get it done, we'll give you another look. Have a great rest of July. Maybe we'll see you then soon.